Hi, everybody. I'm Brendan Murphy.
And I'm Mathew Brown. And welcome back to another fun-filled edition of A Few Good Movies, people. And today, wow, we got a fun one tonight. The season finale of The Mandalorian, Season 2, right here, right now. But first things first, just make it real quick and simple, people. Just go ahead and like, comment, subscribe right down there below. It takes 5 seconds, means the world to us. Okay, I'm done talking. Let's get to it.
All right. So, as you said, season finale of Mandalorian Season 2. Moment we've all been waiting for after 8 chapters in this book. Very excited to get to chapter 16, titled The Rescue. Who boy, Mathew. We've got a lot to talk about here.
Yeah, it's a very filled episode. They don't waste a second of this episode. You know,
No.
A lot of times they build you up for finales for a show and you get let down. I think they stepped the bar up pretty much the whole episode. They just kept building. It kept getting heavier and heavier.
For sure. Some stuff they had been playing with over the last season. Like, I love how they brought in the I don't want to fuck up the Death Troopers or whatever, like the big Iron Man stormtroopers.
Yeah,
I think they're
the Mega something. They're called like Mega Troopers or something.
The Death Troopers, the Mega Troopers, something like that. They're big, scary, and they are robots. Which,
yes,
I feel like we can go ahead and bring this up early. It's the first time I've ever been scared of droids in this universe, because Phantom Menace, they're like stormtroopers, like they're bad guys, but nothing too crazy. And then in 2 and 3, they just essentially become fucking comedic sidekicks, where they're just like, oh, whoa.
They don't serve much value in 2 and 3 at all.
Whoa, there's like slipping on oil all over the place. But these guys, they don't fuck around. They are scary, they are powerful, and very fun to see fight a bunch of our favorite people in this series.
I think you touched on it last week, but it is certainly, it's Iron Man. Iron Man found his way into the Star Wars universe.
It's Iron Man. Yeah.
Iron Man found his way into the Star Wars universe for sure. John Favreau made sure he got him in there, and I think it's incredible.
Almost directly, some shots from Iron Man put in this, like shots of Iron Man when he's fighting, like kind of got put in this episode, which I'm not complaining, but like, that's what it is. I mean, here's the thing we also got to bring up. Let's shout him out early because he deserves the recognition because he did a bang-up job. Director Peyton Reed this episode. Obviously, we talked about him earlier this year when we talked about the episode The Passenger, one of my favorites, the big old spider episode. Big fan of that one.
Oh, yeah.
But another guy who works within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's directed the 2 Ant-Mans. So obviously a guy who knows how to use scale and use it to great effect. How these troopers look and how they're shot are fantastically done. It's a very well directed episode. I was actually kind of surprised that it was Peyton Reed at the end, because I was for sure that since it's a season finale, obviously we're going to get into the bigger stuff that happens in this episode. We're going to stay away from spoilers, at least for right now, so we can kind of just give our thoughts as far as quality. But I thought for sure it was going to be Favreau, because I mean, there's so much going on. Big season finale, and then you watch the rest of the episode, like, there's no way he's not giving this to anyone but himself. But then no, he's just like, nah, buddy, Peyton Reed, he's coming in. It's like fucking Wild Thing coming in at the end of Major League to just fucking knock him out. It's fucking great.
Shit. He had the glasses on and everything. Skull and crossbones, baby.
Just 3 fastballs down the middle, no misses.
You're waving off every sign. You know exactly.
Absolutely fantastic. He wants the heater. He's going to give him the heater. And it works. I mean, I agree with you. Like, second this episode starts, we see Boba Fett trying to shoot down some Imperials, which is great, which is fun. And then we just don't stop till the very end. And like you said, I mean, we've got so much to cover. But I guess, first off, I'll just ask, so we've talked about that it's a lot of fun. Is there anything else you want to say about, like, what you thought of this episode without going into any spoilers, anything like that we can leave with the people with before they watch it?
I don't know. Because there's a lot I want to talk about. Spoilers definitely kind of creep into most of it.
See, that's a problem.
Like I said, all I can really say before we really start getting into spoilers is, like I said, it's a job well done. Every 5 to 10 minutes into this episode, the stakes got higher and higher, and I was like, "Wow, they're really okay. They're putting it all on the table, and all the way down to the ending of what happens. They put it all on the table, and I don't know where it goes from here, which is really crazy. So,
yeah.
That's. I think we need to get into these spoilers because I'm ready to start ripping out these comments. Sure.
Oh yeah, we need to get into the future of the series. First, I'm gonna give I agree with you. A very tense episode 2.
Yeah.
I had this pit in my stomach the whole time. A lot of great stuff in this cast. A lot of stuff we've been waiting to see finally gets paid off. Giancarlo Esposito, he fucking goes off in this episode. He's fantastic.
Yeah, he's a badass.
A lot of fun. Here's the thing. If you're a fan of Mandalorian, you've already watched the episode probably. You're not watching any videos before you watch that thing. You want to go watch The Mandalorian. So right now, we're going to go ahead, lift the spoiler ban. 3, 2, 1. So Luke Skywalker's in this episode.
Yeah.
Matt. Luke Skywalker was in the episode for about a good 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So what'd you think of the Luke Skywalker stuff? I think is the first question we got to ask. I feel like
it's the biggest question.
Yeah.
Couple things. One, I didn't like the CGI of it. It looked fake. Okay, very fake. I get it. There's a lot more CGI going on throughout this show, so it's not like it's our first. I don't know. I think I understand story-wise why it's being put in where it is, or what they're trying to do with it. But I don't know. I got to be honest. I wasn't the biggest fan of it being Luke Skywalker. I don't know who I was expecting. I don't know if I was expecting Obi-Wan or if I was expecting somebody we've never seen before. I don't know, but I was I can't believe I'm saying this, but I was a little let down when it was Luke Skywalker. I was like, it's not what I was hoping for.
And here's the question, because they did the kind of bullshit, we don't know it's Luke Skywalker when they're not showing his face, but from the second you see the X-Wing, do you know that it's Luke Skywalker? Or are you still kind of trying to figure out who's in there?
It was the second they showed the color of the lightsaber. I was like, well, unless this is someone I don't know, I was like, this is Luke Skywalker. Yeah. I was like, unless there's someone else with the green lightsaber. But yeah, that's why I was like, since they were built, because fuck, they didn't show his face for 2 minutes. They let him do a whole fight scene. So I was like, maybe they're building this up because it'll be someone else and that'll be cool. But I guess not.
For sure. Here's the thing for me. I don't think the CGI looks great either, but it's not something that bothers me. It's just kind of the thing where you're de-aging Mark Hamill. You're doing the whole thing. You're probably doing more with the voice than anything else, because Mark Hamill now, he's got that deep kind of older guy voice, which he did do the voice and everything, but it looks fine. It's whatever. It's kind of what I've come to expect from Disney and kind of how their deep fake stuff kind of goes these days.
Yeah.
But the thing I'm more concerned with is what this means for the show and kind of how it impacts it. Is what
go ahead.
Leaves me a little scared.
I can tell you one thing I wasn't a fan of is because I know we had touched on it a lot. And I think you're going to kind of about to go down this same path. But like you said, for the longest time, this has stayed away from the nostalgia of it, and it's played on it being its own world. I don't like that. I feel like this brings us it takes us back into the Star Wars universe that we already know.
Yeah. Which worries me. Now, there's also the flip side of that coin. Since now that Luke Skywalker has shown up and he's taken Grogu away, that really opens us up to no more Jedi, literally just the Mandalorian going around doing Mandalorian stuff. You could be going around with Bo-Katan and trying to retake Mandalore. That
or those group of all the Mandalorians he was with. Remember, she pitched that idea of you should really join back this war to get back and that's what I was thinking too. If we lose Grogu, which it'll be a heartbreaking event if there's no more Baby Yoda out there. I know we'll all be sad.
He's going to be around. There's no shot he's not around. We're going to see Grogu around in the universe. Are you kidding me? They're going to give away their biggest cash cow they've had in 5 years?
You're right. You're absolutely
That's the new fucking Olaf. There's no shot that kid is going away anytime soon.
Yeah, because the way it ends leaves you. I was hanging there. I was thinking those same things, but I was like, damn, if they get rid of the kid, I was like, I'll still watch it, but like, damn.
Where does it go?
I need.
Mm-hmm.
I was almost hoping they didn't find a Jedi this soon. I was hoping that was going to be next season. They really, like I said, really piled it on in this episode.
See, that's because it's also the thing where I think the scene looks cool. Obviously, like I think Luke Skywalker going to town on some like big old robots is like fun to watch.
For sure.
I hate where it comes in because you have this moment right before the X-Wing flies by where there's a lot of group tension between everybody in that room.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting, complex character shit that's going on in that room right there. And it feels like they were just like, oh, fuck that. Luke Skywalker's going to come in and he's going to fucking tear up some shit. Let's do that instead. Which, listen, I am not opposed to Luke Skywalker going in and tearing up some shit. That's great. I love seeing that. But it's also like, what the fuck? Bo-Katan and the Mando about to go do some, like, maybe put their dukes up, and I get none of it.
Yeah, they blow past that whole moment. They never readdress it.
They do nothing for 10 minutes with it. Like, what's the future with that? Like, I don't get any sense of, like, what that relationship is going to be like.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe that's part of the setup for season 3, though. That could be, you know, an ongoing battle. I don't know. But
that's the thing. Like, I would like to know, kind of leading into season 3, like, what is that relationship going to look like? Are these guys leaving it in this antagonistic way? Is Bo-Katan going to kind of look to this guy to be the person who maybe leads the people? Like, hey, he got the sword. Maybe he is the person to do it. He doesn't really want it. So, like, maybe that's right, and I got to follow this guy. Like, he was the one who was able to get it done. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I'd also love to know some origin on that. Why that sword? You have to like win it to get it. Like that's an interesting. I don't know what that's all about.
I mean, I personally like that we're operating on Harry Potter rules. I think that's very fun. You got to win it at a duel. That's pretty good for me. But like,
that's great.
Yeah, it's Harry Potter rules. I love that shit.
Well, dude, we've got Breaking Bad into Star Wars with Harry Potter rules because.
And don't forget the Iron Man suits.
I even think it's perfect how great Moff's character is. Maybe it was just me that found this. But he's like, you should assume that I know everything already. And that made me laugh because I was like, that feels just like Gus. Like, that was the thing about Gus is he was always 10 steps ahead and always knew what they were already talking about.
See, what's funny is this feels like Gus, but very, very petty. Like, he's so petty about this shit. He's like, ooh, you're gonna... Like, one of my favorite lines, I love this line so much, was when he says, you spared me. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
This is interesting. Okay,
he's like very self-aware of. He's like very self-aware of the story almost, the way he kind of acts sometimes.
But also the fucking shit-eating grin and how happy he is when he's like, "Nah, you two are gonna fucking fight each other now. I don't even matter. You two are gonna fight over it, and I'm gonna get away. This is gonna be great. I'm super happy about it."
Let's talk about the most badass moment Moff pulls here. Maybe it's a personal thing, but when he knows it's over, he puts the gun to his chin. And they have to stop him. I was like, what a fucking badass. What a fucking badass, dude.
Moff Gideon going down.
He said, I'm not going down. I'll take myself down.
That's right.
Gotta respect it.
I love the move, personally. Where just fucking Cara Dune fucking knocks it out of his hand by fucking butting his... it out of his hands or like butting his face like with the gun and everything. Like, good stuff. Like to see it. But yeah, man, I've been texting a couple people about this. I just don't really know. So we've been talking about like, okay, so there's all this interesting stuff going on, and I feel like a lot to talk about there. But like they just set it aside to bring in Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. It didn't feel like this season was gonna end up in Luke Skywalker and R2-D2's hands at the end.
It's just like, I mean, even me and Fletch, I think we're talking about this. If not on the episode, like right after it, because we were still just going on about it. But we were like, Luke Skywalker is one of the last people I want to see, and if I do see him, I want to see him at like the very end of the show. It's the last thing I see.
We've seen enough fucking Luke Skywalker. No offense to anybody, but motherfucker,
9 movies.
We've seen Luke Skywalker. We get it. We know what he's capable of.
It's just like we finally get away. We have the show that doesn't center around this one family. And then immediately, 2 seasons in, last episode is like, but what if Luke Skywalker was in the show, guys? What if we just put Luke Skywalker in the show? And hopefully, now, this gives me hope because it looks like they could have gone a much different approach by recasting Luke Skywalker, because there's been a lot of discussion on if they were ever going to bring him in and who should play him. Sebastian Stan was one of the people that was constantly getting floated as like people saying like this person should play Luke Skywalker if you're going to bring him into the show, but they didn't. They did the Mark Hamill deep fake thing that looks like not great, but like passable. Like it'll do the job.
Let's put it this way: The Irishman does it much better.
Yeah, which even The Irishman is like not the best job.
Right, but it looks better as far as
it does. But if they wanted to do it long term, where Luke is like a big part of the show, you recast it.
Yeah, because they can't do that for.
They can't do that anymore.
That's fucking terrible.
Yeah, you can't keep showing me that. It's good for like the small dose of it, but like that can't be a regular like point of the show where like, oh look, it's a guy with a Luke Skywalker face on.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Can't do it.
That'll take me out of the Mandalorian next season.
It's the same thing as like Rogue One, where like there are moments where like, oh, that actually looks really good, and then like, oh, that actually looks like really bad. I don't know. I mean, the best part of the episode is when we don't see his face, where like that's when he works best. Is
literally as soon as they show his face, I was like,
yeah, it's like it's fine. Like I just have very mixed feelings about what bringing Luke Skywalker into all of this does for the show.
Yeah, I pray this doesn't become a play on nostalgia, because that was my fear. As soon as I saw him, I was like, are they trying to like rope in the older crew so they can? I was like, just let this be its own thing. Don't do this.
Even bringing in Boba Fett and making him work was a huge pill to swallow for me personally. I was like, I don't know if this works. I don't know if this is something they should do.
It did though. It worked great.
But it took a lot of work. It took a lot of finesse, and it was like, okay, you got by with the skin of your teeth. So what are we doing next? Oh, in 2 episodes, Luke Skywalker, he's coming in. It's like too much, too fast. Don't do it. Stop doing this. Like,
yeah, I can't.
And also, and I get it. This is Star Wars. This is how it works.
Yeah.
I hate that I didn't see that group of people who like tensions are high. They have to like band together and fight these fucking big ass robot things that are like very scary. Like I would have at least liked to have seen them have to take on some of these guys.
Yeah, just even if he would have showed up 10 minutes later and they would have fought each other a little bit, got a little bit of action. But literally, they set up this huge scene between tension within the room, tension outside of the room, not knowing where Moff Gideon's going to go next. And they just go, oh, Luke's here, and everything ends. They fucking blow past all of it. And I agree with you, because, man, they had so much potential to have those last few minutes of that episode be crazy, as opposed to being about Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. And also, it's that thing where you can either you have the option of leaving your audience excited for what the next season is going to bring, or kind of confused as to like, so what's gonna happen now? The baby isn't a thing anymore.
Yeah.
So what's gonna happen? Because another thing we've not talked about yet is but yeah, I agree. Like to kind of put like an end on this little thing. Like you put in like a 5-minute sequence where they're like running through the fucking ship and they have to fight off the robot guys, and you see Bo-Katan and Mando like kind of leave on the terms they're going to be on for the next season and everything. And that's going to be the big arc and like what is going to kind of keep us hooked for next season and like where the show's going to go. Because right now, I don't know where it's going to go. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I don't know if that's hey, now we can do whatever we want, or just kind of, because we've been done dirty by this before, the J.J. Abrams like mystery box, like, I don't know, guys, what is going to happen? I don't know. We'll see. It like always leaves me disappointed. And it's just like, you don't have anything. So like, I don't know. I want to trust Favreau and Filoni, obviously. I think they've done a great job with the show. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed the finale a lot. I don't want to be bashing. I think this is the biggest thing everyone's talking about. This is the thing we have to talk about most at the beginning. Like, this is, if we like danced around it the whole time, we're just like, so when are we going to get to the Luke Skywalker bit of it?
Yeah, because really, like you said, you take out the last 10 minutes, which it wasn't even bad. It just was.
It's kind of, yeah.
I expected more, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know, because the rest of this episode is fantastic.
It's great. Incredible. Like, if those last 10 minutes don't happen, and once again, I had fun watching the last 10 minutes. I don't want to bag on the episode. It's a great episode.
For sure.
It's just like,
I just know how hard we've hit on how great this show was because it wasn't bringing in the old Star Wars. Yeah. And now it's kind of not only brought in the old Star Wars, but brought in like Luke Skywalker. Like, come on. Like, you did the biggest, like, in your face old school Star Wars.
It's like me with Last Jedi, which I know you're not the biggest fan of, but like Last Jedi, I watched it, I'm like, oh my God, they're doing something different with Star Wars. I don't know where we're going. Like, what are we going to do? There's a bunch of exciting different possibilities we could go down, a bunch of different roads we can go down. There's a lot of interesting character stuff going on here. Wow, this is going to be really nice. 9th episode. It's all about the Skywalkers. Everyone's a Skywalker. Don't you worry. Luke, Leia, fucking Rey, everybody's a fucking Skywalker. You're Darth Vader's grandson. You're Darth Vader's grandson. Like, it's just all of that.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's just, and once again, it's not that drastic, but it feels a little bit less like, can we do one thing? Yeah. One thing that's not connected to these fucking people, just once.
It's just too, it's like a cop-out. It's too easy to be like, oh, we'll throw Skywalker in at the end. And it'd be one thing if they threw Skywalker in at the beginning or something, but to get this far in and to be, I guess, this successful and have this many people raving about it as is, you don't need to bring in Skywalker.
Yeah. Or even just like have him come in literally last second.
The last minute of that whole 5 minutes he was there wasn't needed. All he did was take the thing like he was going to, and he said his goodbye. And I know there was that beautiful moment where he takes off his helmet and he shows a living creature in space.
And that's all great. That's one of the best moments of the entire show. That little exchange.
Beautiful. But that could have been done in the last minute. You don't need to waste the last 10 minutes of that. We didn't need to see that much of fucking Anakin.
It's not even the length. It goes back to the whole, I wanted to see these guys like get into some shit and take on these fucking guys.
Yeah.
You set them up earlier in the show. You make this big deal that they are the fucking scariest things in the world.
Yeah, he barely escaped. They're the fucking Terminators. That one kicked his ass.
I want to see them like take on these guys. Like, I want some tension there. I want to see like the characters that are the show take on the big bad thing. Like, listen, Luke Skywalker takes a couple out at the end, fine, and he's like the big like savior of the day, cool. But I would like to see my characters like challenged a little bit towards the end, because, and once again, it's badass, it's cool, but like, you know, they're just wiping the floor with these guys. They're a bunch of fucking stormtroopers. They walk in, they just fucking shoot a bunch of people, and it's great.
By the way, though, that group of girls, the 4 of them, badass when they're coming through, so badass.
Great, incredible.
But yeah, you're right. Like you said, they're treating them like the drones in episodes 2 and 3. So it's like, yeah, I'd like to see that challenge. The closest thing to a challenge you see is obviously when Mandalorian fights that one Death Trooper by himself, and of course Moff Gideon. They have a little good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, there's no challenge here, especially for those other 3. And like you said, we get to this tense moment. We find out the stakes are real high for Bo-Katan because of this sword, and we blow past it all.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah, which is like a bummer.
Very
and it's
big,
that Star Wars thing of like that Star Wars thing of storytelling where they always do this. We're like, oh, at the very last second, some big thing comes in and saves the day, which is fine. I get it. It's Star Wars, it's supposed to do that. It's a poem, it rhymes, like all that shit. It's a circle. But like, it's just like it takes all the air out. Like I was really just like, what the fuck is about to happen? There's a lot of like, oh. And here's the thing. I knew that it was happening before I started watching the episode because I got on Twitter this morning forgetting that Twitter sucks and is going to ruin it for you. No one explicitly said Luke Skywalker is in the episode, but I was like, by the things that people are saying, Luke Skywalker is definitely in this episode of The Mandalorian.
I'm glad I don't have Twitter.
Yeah. So I was like kind of prepped for it. I think it makes it a lot better for me because I think if I just saw it out of the blue, I would have really been like,
I was pretty let down, dude. Yeah, I was pretty pissed.
Yeah. So I'm glad I had that, but it's once again, we're like talking, it's a good episode. Like, it's a great episode. I think it's one of the better episodes of the show. It's just, the Luke thing, like I said, like I think a lot of the Luke stuff works. Like the whole leaving thing works. I think the R2D2 Baby Yoda stuff is like really fun. Like I was laughing. I like had a big old smile on my face. I'm not saying that Luke Skywalker can't be on the show. I just kind of dislike all of what they did with it. Like I'm really 50-50 on it.
Yeah. You know, I know because of the way this Obi-Wan series is shaping up and where it takes place in time. I feel like that's going to end up intertwining with this show because of where it's at in time. No. That's not true at all. That's not true at all. That's completely false. Darth Vader's dead. That's completely wrong. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, then, there goes that train of thought. Okay. Yeah, that's out the window. We can trash that thought.
For sure. But I mean, I don't know. Like maybe Boba Fett's like in the background somewhere. Like, I don't know. Possible.
We'll get to that at the end. But now you want to talk about some big news is what happens there at the end.
Now, this is the shit that kind of got me angry, actually.
Angry?
Little bit. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay. So once again, the episode lands on a very like, so what the fuck is going to be happening now? And I don't know. And I trust Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is going to be a show or it's just a season, but like when it says like the Book of Boba Fett, I was like, is this going to be a Boba Fett show now? I don't know if it's a show or if it's like because I was talking about this earlier. If it's just like Boba Fett gets his own show, fine. But if like the Mandalorian turns into the Boba Fett show, I am going to be fucking livid. Okay, see, I was taking it as it's a different show because you're right. If the Mandalorian ends and it becomes the Book of Boba Fett, I'm pissed. Yeah. That is not acceptable. But the reason I was excited is because I was taking it as that's a separate show. Yeah. So we'll see. Or like you said, movie. I don't even know. I think it is its own show. I had to look it up after, and I've done a little digging, and it looks like its own show. But like my initial reaction was like, the fuck, the Book of Boba Fett? Yeah. Because especially when we're doing this whole chapters thing, they got to do the fucking chapters thing. I get it. It's what they want to do. It's fun. It's nice. Like chapter 16, whatever. They think they're Quentin Tarantino, those bastards. Yeah. Like when they do the book of this, I'm like, so is that like kind of how Avatar works? Like this is book 2? Like what's going on here? Like I don't. And it could be because the Mandalorian doesn't have the. I mean, they can either go anywhere with it or he did his job. But also, I'm pissed if that's what it is. Me too. I agree. I'm just saying they could do that, but I agree. If the Mandalorian ends and it becomes the Book of Boba Fett and we don't see Mando or Baby Yoda anymore, this show becomes a failure to me. Yeah. Which I don't think it is. I think I was just like caught off guard for a second. For sure. But it's also, even if it is his own show, it leaves. It's not that I'm super angry about it. It's just like a little. It irks me a little bit. Because it's turning this into the Marvel thing a little bit, where it's just like, here's your post-credits thing that's going to tease the next thing we're going to do. Get ready. And it's like, oh, I thought we weren't that. Which, once again, I'm a big Marvel guy. I love that shit. I'll eat it up, but it's like, come on, guys. It's one of those things where I think maybe less is more. Maybe. To where... Like, because I know we were super pumped about the adding of the Obi series and Hayden Christensen, and we've been hyped about this series. I think for me, it was overload at that point. Where it's just like, you guys just announced 15 Star Wars series. Can I get Yeah. They also got that animated The Bad Batch coming out next year. And it's just like, can you give me just like 5 seconds? Can I just enjoy this one show, let it end for a second? Just sit here without you telling me. And don't you worry, next year we're gonna have even more Star Wars for you. Which, dude, but here we go. This is gonna touch on to a bigger problem with me. Yeah, because I was literally about to say, this is gonna be the bigger problem with Star Wars going forward. Is it's losing how special it is if we're gonna make 20 shows. That you're absolutely right, but I'm saying I'm gonna go bigger picture on people. Mm-hmm. The problem is with these people today and attention spans. It's why people can't watch longer movies. Mm-hmm. You can't wait 3 or 4 years in between a movie. I mean, you can, but you lose a lot of people's interest unless it was like a really, really good movie. Mm-hmm. And I think that because of now these streaming wars that are coming in, and just where we're at with this age in cinema and television and entertainment, it's all about just like who's
we got to keep people's eyes glued to our stream as long as possible. And so that's why it's like, I feel like they have to keep flushing these out to where, like you said, you can't enjoy it. It becomes.
Mark your calendars.
Yeah, just check your calendars. Exactly. Date your calendars because it's going to be right here next year with a new thing, a new spinoff, we're adding this. We've got this series. We've got another person. And it's like, I agree with you. It's making Star Wars lose what it is. But I think this is, I think it's more of really Disney acting out of, I want to say, the analytics of how they see the way people respond these days.
I mean, it's them trying to turn Star Wars into Marvel, which I think is like the bigger thing, because once again, big Marvel fan. I'm going to say that up front about it every time. But like, from that perspective, Marvel can do that because that's what Marvel has been doing since the beginning.
Exactly. That's why there's 45 different comments. Exactly.
They've been evolving, like, and doing this kind of business since the beginning of not just the comics, but like since the movie started, where like, okay, Iron Man, we end off the Avengers Initiative, Nick Fury. So like, okay, so that's what we're doing. Is like, this is all going to lead together. This is all going to interconnect. We're going to have a lot of this shit for you to watch. Like, have at it. We're going to like make 3 fucking shows. Like, they have all this shit and that works. But like, you know, Star Wars, and I'm not going to treat it as a sacred cow. I think too many people do that. Star Wars can be bad. Star Wars can be good. Star Wars can be like in between. It's not this thing where like, oh, you ruined Star Wars. Like, Star Wars has been ruined and brought back and built again 100 times over.
Sure.
That shit, like, I have no interest in talking about.
You remember at one point, Revenge of the Sith ruined Star Wars. So let's leave that there.
Well, it's just like, and those are movies I like. And it's just like, listen, I love Star Wars. I take it like as it is. I know some of it is very bad. There's stuff I don't like about it. There's stuff I fucking adore about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not a sacred cow. But there's also this thing to it where when you watch something Star Wars, it feels kind of special. There's this one thing. It's one of these few things that no matter what they make and do, like, it still just feels special when you sit down to watch Star Wars.
Absolutely.
And by making all these fucking shows, which I think some will be good, obviously we're both excited for a good amount of them. We talked a lot about it last week.
Sure.
With Rogue Squadron, I'm pumped for that. Obviously the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, we're very excited about. But it's also like, if it just it's like, do you ever remember the Sesame Street episode where it's Christmas every day?
No.
Okay. There's an episode of Sesame Street where
I'm so happy there's a Sesame Street reference right now. This is awesome.
So there's an episode of Sesame Street, if I remember correctly, where one of the kids or somebody wishes that it was Christmas every day in Sesame Street. And it turns out that the wish comes true and it's Christmas every day. And it's cool. Like, oh my God, it's Christmas again? Holy shit, more presents, more huge dinners. Like, let's go. Then about like a weekend, they're like, can you do something else? Please? Like, I can't eat anymore. The food bills are like skyrocketing. I can't buy this many turkeys anymore. Like, my parents have to go back to work. Like, it's just this whole thing where it's just like, it can't be Christmas every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it's Christmas every day, it loses its like feeling. It's what makes it special.
I agree.
What like brings, like, it's a special time of year where you're able to do all this stuff, listen to the music, watch the movies, all this stuff. If it's fucking, there's a new Star Wars episode like every week, all the time, every day, it's like, well, now you've lost what makes it special.
No, 100%. And I think, because I remember when this thing first came out, season 1, I remember that was what a lot of people were talking about. These first couple of episodes, they were like, thank God, we finally got a Star Wars television show, and they did it right. And it's not some, like, it feels like Star Wars, and it's a television show. That was like a big thing. Like, wow, oh, this is holy ground almost. I know you don't want to holy it, but
no. But listen, it's holy ground. But I'm not saying like I'm not going to treat it as like Star Wars has always been perfect. It's always been this great thing. Like,
right.
It's just like, oh, I get to watch Star Wars again. This is nice.
Yeah, and also, that's what it felt like every week. Yeah. And I just don't think. I think, like you said, if we start having 2 or 3 different series and all kinds of shit going on, I'm gonna be like, well, yeah, like you said, dude. I mean, at this point, this is like a Marvel movie coming out every 4 months. Like, yeah. I don't need that personally. Yeah. You know how I feel about Marvel.
Yeah, I know. I'm the person who eats up that shit, and I'm like, don't you do it? I don't need 2 of these.
Star Wars, not Star Wars is.
Well, it's not even that. It's just like, fine, Marvel can do their thing, and I have one of those that I keep following. I see everything, all that. If everything turns into that, I'm gonna fucking lose my mind.
I agree, but I do think a lot of people are going to try to do it because of the success of it has been absolutely incredible.
But like, here's the thing that I don't think enough people talk about the show's success and why it works so much and why it grabbed the like consciousness of everybody for so long, and people keep talking about it, as opposed to most every other TV show on right now. And it's why Game of Thrones worked too. The week-to-week shit. Stop fucking dropping all of your seasons of television in one go.
But again, see, this goes back to what I'm talking about. You're absolutely right. But the reason people do that is because nowadays...
They binge their fucking TV shows for 13 hours straight.
Dude, nowadays, these fucking people, man, if they don't get it all in one bit, they... Remember, what is... Oh my God, dude, on Instagram, what do you see people put on their stories? What should I binge watch? What's the best thing to binge watch? What shows can I just watch all day? Like, people need binge watching. And I don't know why it's the way our society works, to where we've got to consume everything right now and it's got to be instant. It's fucking internet, whatever. Mm-hmm. Thank God for the internet. That's why we're able to do this right now. But it's just crazy, man, that like, that's because that used to never be a thing. I feel like it was only a few years ago these TV shows started dropping these full-length seasons because...
I think the first one to do it, if I remember correctly, because I remember being like, holy fucking shit, they just dropped the whole season.
Yeah, that was like
I think it was House of Cards. I think it's probably House of Cards.
Which wasn't that long ago, dude.
Yeah. Like 2013, around there, something like that.
That was groundbreaking, and now it's
ruined everything.
It really has, dude. It's because like, I don't know. For me, the only time it's acceptable to drop, which is funny because this would have been, The Mandalorian would be a reason, in my definition, would be probably under the definition of something that could be dropped at one time. Because for me, I would say usually it's something that's only like 4 to 6 episodes, like a mini series. That's what I think you drop at one time. These are short episodes, so this TV show could have honestly been dropped at once, but I'm totally on the same page with you, and like, that takes away from it because I was getting excited tonight. I was looking forward to it. I was like, oh shit, I was telling my brother about it. He's like, oh no, me and my fiance are watching that when I get home. I can't watch it without her. And I started thinking about things like that. And then sorry, I'm going on a rant here for a second.
No, we're ranting, like it's going on.
Then I started thinking about, remember I told you I've been watching Survivor on Netflix?
No, I did not know this. That's
Dude, yeah, I binged Survivor on Netflix, Heroes vs. Villains, because I watched it as a younger kid. And so I put on the first 2 episodes and I remembered some of the characters. And so I binged the whole season. But then when it was over, I remember I was talking to my dad about it, just kind of reminiscing on it and shit. And I was like, Dad, you remember how exciting it used to be Thursday at 7 p.m.? You'd sit down, because every episode ends with who just got voted off. Yeah. So then you kick back up into that next episode, and all of a sudden they're talking about what was going on. Yeah. And then, they have their challenge. Then there's tribal, whatever it's called, wherever they get voted off. I forget what it was called.
Yeah.
But tribal council. And yeah. And so then all of a sudden I remember being so excited every Thursday, like, all right, what's about to happen now? Yeah. And that's gone. We don't have that these days. And like you said, that was one of the good things that The Mandalorian was doing, because it for sure, I think you nailed that. That is a big thing. You nailed that.
No, it's just like, I mean, even this year has really shown it, because obviously now it's like even we don't have movies in theaters. Like, people can just watch it instantly whenever. Like, the conversation around stuff just literally 2-3 days, then it's gone. You don't hear about it again.
Gone.
Like, think about the discussion about like The Five Bloods, a Spike Lee movie. A great Spike Lee movie that's like gonna be getting some Oscar looks. Delroy Lindo gives this incredible performance in it. We maybe spent a week on it as a society. You're like,
Tenet got blown by.
Yeah. Which even then, like, it's just dropped on Blu-ray. There's like been a spike in it, but like literally just like it went and gone. Like, we talked more about like the whole HBO Max and the Nolan stuff surrounding Tenet than the actual movie.
Dude, that's the society we live in, man. There's so much information and people have to process, and we see so much shit day in, day out, and just so much happens that we we forget. We simply forget. And this goes bigger than even films, man. You can go to politics.
100%.
You can go to just any really just
It's all the
major
sound bites.
yeah, just major news that happens every day. If you go back throughout every day throughout this year, you'd probably go, this is not a good year to use because it's been a tough one.
Yeah.
But you can go back for the last 5 years though and look, be like, wow, a lot of shit happened this year. But you forget because it happens so quick and we get told immediately and boom, boom, boom. And it's just this constant influx of information. It's like there's pros and cons to this technological age we're in.
Mm-hmm. I forget what it was. Let me check real quick. But I remember somebody like posted something like, hey, you remember this? This happened this year. And I was like, you can't, you're fucking with me. There's no shot that actually happened this year.
Dude, you remember the Tiger King? That was in like April.
Good
that
Lord.
was sweeping the nation.
Fucking Tiger King.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, but it was sweeping the nation, dude. And it was 2 weeks. It was the only thing people talked about was COVID and the Tiger King.
And never again.
It's dead. Yeah, I don't even know when the Tiger King. I can't even find it on Netflix anymore.
Yeah, it's
ridiculous.
Like, yeah, it's just it's tough to get back to where we go, but it's like I'm glad that Disney Plus is doing this with their shows.
I agree.
This is what they continue to do with the Marvel stuff, with the other Star Wars shows they're doing.
Sure.
I hope it like the fucking studios and like Netflix or Amazon or whoever is like smartens up. I think The Boys learned that lesson this year. Like Amazon started dropping those week to week instead of just dropping all the time.
Here's the thing: is I think for even more of a subscriber point of view, like keeping your audience coming back.
Yeah,
these people know that if you drop this, people are going to binge watch it for a week and then they're going to move on. If you have something that's going to take 3 months to come out and it's a good show, you're guaranteeing that for 3 months, these people are going to come back at least once a week.
Which I hope that's a lesson that they learn from the show. Because once again, this is one of the few things that like has taken the nation by storm. Like once the first season dropped, even it's just like Baby Yoda was everywhere. No one could stop fucking talking about him.
Dude, I saw Baby Yoda fucking Christmas decorations when I was driving down the street. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, great. I love it.
I haven't seen. I can't remember the last television show that took over like this. I mean, I know Breaking Bad did it. I know
Game of Thrones was probably the last one.
You're probably exactly right. Game of Thrones was probably the last one.
Like the last appointment viewing, everyone was tuned in. Everyone would go on Twitter. Everyone was talking about it for months.
Yeah,
was Game of Thrones. That was the last one.
Yeah, you're right.
And we thought it was like gonna die right after that. We literally thought like this is it. The golden age of television died when Game of Thrones ended because we were like, now it's all streaming. Now it's all you drop it all one day. Mm-hmm. HBO was really the only one that was still like week to week. But even now with HBO Max, it looks like they're starting to just take that model. We're just like, we'll dump all of it.
I feel like it was one of these things that happened. Like I said, there was these last few years where everyone was really like battling, jockeying to get into these stream wars and really get those subscribers up. So in order to get people tuned in, it was, we've got this whole season of this here, drop it. And now that you've got these people, now it's about, I'm going Chick-fil-A here. Now it's, all right, loyalty, customer loyalty and people coming back and retaining these raving fans. Once you've got them in, now it's okay, we'll drop it every week because we know you're in for the long haul. So let's make sure we don't make you lose interest in 1 week because you binged watched everything you already wanted to see.
Yeah. And it's just also like, it's the same thing as like a 90-minute movie. Like I was talking to my buddies about this, like a 90-minute movie is one of the best things in the world because you can watch it. It's short. You get it done. You're out of the way. You're in. You're out. It's over.
I love 90-minute movies.
They're great. I watched 13 Going on 30 the first time this week. It was a slick 90 minutes. I got in. I got out. I had a great time.
Yeah, you're like, all right, bet.
Is it the best thing ever? No, but like it was a 90-minute movie. It gets like an extra star for that because I was just like, yeah, that was nice. Yeah. And I didn't take like another 30 minutes out of my day like some other movies would have. So like, good job on you. Right. Good stuff. But it's when you see like, okay, do I have to watch one episode or 12? Like, I'm gonna watch the one episode, then like come back next week to watch the other one. Usually, I remember when House of Cards first came out. R.I.P. Kevin Spacey in his career. But I remember like getting hyped for the second season. Like, I'm gonna fucking get up at 8 o'clock. I'm gonna binge the whole thing in one day. It's gonna be great. And you know what? All it did, it just made me fucking tired.
Yeah,
that's all it
because they're
did.
watching TV all day. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like all I did was watch House of Cards today, and now I have no more House of Cards left. Like, it's what happened to savoring?
I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
once you start binge watching it, first of all, it loses its potency after a few episodes, and again, then all of a sudden you're like, well, I just waited 6 months for 10 hours of television, and now it's over. So what the fuck do I do now?
Zero time to think about the things you've just seen, like, which is what the golden age of television with Mad Men, Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, all this stuff was what made it so great.
Contemplate on it all week and talk about what could.
Yeah, you got to like dissect every single moment. You had fun. Like, this could lead to this. This could mean that. Like,
they go back and show a rerun on TV so you can watch it again right before it came on. You're like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, but now it's like, remember when the thing happened at that part of the show? Yeah, it was pretty fun. Like, that's just the whole conversation. It's just
nowadays you skip the recap because you just watched the episode before.
Yeah, it's just it's strange. I don't know. I mean, the whole age. I mean, obviously we've seen a lot of this. I mean, we're entering this new age of technology and everything like that. Like, it's crazy to think. I watched Flight the other day.
Great movie.
Solid movie, great Denzel performance. But I think
I was going to say an underrated Denzel performance.
So good, but
very underrated.
I think that movie came out in 2012, 2011, sometime in there. Sounds about right. And Denzel is using his old ass iPhone, like 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
The green little slide button with the arrow, the fucking water background and everything like that. And I was like, I can't even fathom the jump we've made just in like the last decade or so with technology, like how fast and crazy everything has gotten.
This goes into this whole conversation of quick and fast, and we get so much so quick.
Yeah,
dude, like, it's so wild. It's to a point where it's like, it's scary. I'm gonna be honest. I never want to say I'm grateful for a pandemic, but at least for my life, I'm getting deeply personal here all of a sudden, but at least in my life, it allowed me to slow down. It allowed me to like breathe and take it in for a second and be like, just because everybody else is going fast, doesn't mean you have to. And then once everyone slowed down, I was like, wow, you need to stop. You need to stop trying to rush through this and just, it's really crazy. And it's like all this, like you said, can't even fathom the jump we've made to, I mean, I don't think Instagram even existed until like 2012. So, it might have been a little bit earlier than that, but.
Yeah, I mean, just think, I'm trying to think, maybe like 2013, 2012. I don't know if Disney even owned Star Wars at that point. I forget exactly when they owned it.
Dude, let's think about this. Twitter came up like 6 years ago. Now we get our information from the President of the United States through Twitter. I know you've seen this before, but you're watching news or something, and they literally show a tweet as if that is news. And I'm not even talking about just the president. I'm talking about anything, football, no matter what you're watching. A tweet is now a form of news, which is that, like, you just got to really think about how radical that is from just a few years ago. That's absolutely insane.
100%. Well, we've definitely gotten off the track a little bit, which is fine. Hey, baby, there's no problem. It was great.
If you come for this ride, you better hold on. That's
100%. So in closing, really good episode. I liked it a lot. The season was really fun overall. But yeah, I mean, it's to get back to just Mandalorian, but yeah, I mean the whole reason we went on the whole tangent because I think, I'm glad we have another show like this because I was scared after Game of Thrones ended, even though it ended poorly and like there was the whole thing and like I hated the finale just like everyone else did, but it was like nice to be like everyone is fucking tuning in Sunday night 10 p.m. Game of Thrones. Everyone's talking about it. There's a discussion about it.
Yeah, for sure.
And even though the discourse has been like tough, like people being dickheads and like we tried to do, but we like quickly stopped doing, like watching the episodes at midnight and then just immediately going to Twitter and like posting all the spoilers and shit. It's just like, can you calm down for a second? Like that stuff has sucked, but it is nice that like a show is just like took its time.
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to follow these rules. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought this was a pretty great season. I thought it was better than the first season by a lot. I was a lot more hooked.
For sure.
I thought it moved a lot faster. Even the stuff I didn't like was pretty minuscule, and I was able to like forgive it and move past it pretty quickly. So yeah, I mean, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni still killing it. I'm excited to see what season 3 is. Hopefully we get it next year. Obviously we don't know when we're getting anything because of this pandemic and everything, but it'll be interesting. The future of Star Wars is very murky right now because obviously we just ended the Skywalker saga and all that. But yeah, I'm excited to see what Mandalorian's gonna do. I'm excited to see if Pedro Pascal is going to be like the guy that leads the charge to like retake Mandalore. That would be really fun, actually.
That would be. I would love to see that.
I'd like to see that. Like we turn this from a like guy who like literally does not give a shit about anything to this kid unlocking this part of him that he didn't know he had, and then like it brings him into like taking over this like leadership mantle. Would be pretty fun to see. I would like to see it. I think that would be really.
I'm here
fun.
for it.
Yeah. Got a lot of interesting characters. We'll see about the Book of Boba Fett. I'm not sure. Like, I just think, like, that's the kind of stuff I'm like a little too much. Like, do we really need a TV show about Boba Fett? Like, the guy who's like, the best thing about him is that we know nothing about him and we don't like follow him around all the time.
Right.
No,
I think the mystery of Boba Fett is what makes him really good. So I agree. I'm excited for it just because I'm excited for it. But I agree. Do we need it? I'd say no.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited that like Ming-Na Wen is gonna like be in a show and like kick some ass in the Star Wars. Like that's the stuff that has me more excited about that show than anything.
She's a badass.
She's great. I love her. Yeah. Any final thoughts, Matthew, on Mandalorian season 2?
No, I think we done covered the whole universe on the Mandalorian
sure.
season 2 finale.
For sure. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, for hanging on for this wild ride that we just took. It's a lot of fun. Hope you enjoyed it. We're going to be having some fun stuff coming up this week. We still got our Tenet review coming very soon. We've got Die Hard coming up. We're going to be having a big week coming up soon. We've got Soul. We've got Wonder Woman 84. Very excited for both of those. So yeah, make sure you stay tuned to our page on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, which we will drop down in the links below. All that good stuff. Comment below what you guys thought of this finale and what you thought of just the season of The Mandalorian in general. We'd love to know what you think. And I think that's about it. We'll see you guys later.